Was there any point in the film where you thought you had it figured out?
Yes.
And were you correct?
No. which again, I love and I appreciate.
Hey, it's the Untitled Film Project Podcast, and we're talking espionage thriller Black Bag.
One of our people stole something.
Something extremely valuable.
Find the leak.
How long do you think you'll need? Give me 2 weeks.
Thousands of innocent people will die.
Okay, 1 week. Who's the suspect?
Your wife.
We are going to go deep into it. We're going to score it, and we're also going to ask the big question.
And the big question this week is, what is your favorite double cross or a notable double cross in a movie you did not see coming?
Exactly. All right, initial takes. Black Bag. Mr. Bradford.
I love Cate Blanchett.
We know you do.
She is a treasure.
I really do. So, I didn't really know what to expect going in because I knew it was like spy stuff. Mm-hmm. But you don't know if there's going to be action or there's going to be whatever's going to be.
There's different kinds of spy stuff.
Different kinds of spy.
Yeah.
This was, to me, a clever, slow burn of a spy drama. But it had so much dry British wit that I really enjoyed it. It kept me curious throughout the whole film because I just didn't know what was going on. And then it dove right in. What was great is only an hour and a half.
Yes, it was.
They accomplished that story in an hour and a half. And it was just kind of... When I say slow burn, doesn't mean the movie was slow either. The movie was paced very, very well. It's just... as they exposed everything that was going on, that was a slow burn.
Right.
And I really enjoyed how they did the slow burn. And it was just purely British. I mean, there's so much just British throughout this entire film.
So British, I probably could have used captions.
I
actually
did have that thought while I was in the theater for a couple of... Well, for Freddie, especially.
Oh, my gosh. But yes, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it. It was very clever to me. It wasn't what I expected out of Spy, because sometimes you expect a little more action. There was basically one action sequence, and you can tell that it was filmed with no people in the car.
Yeah.
But that's really it. I did enjoy Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender just had great chemistry on screen. It was a nice little, like, flirtatious, sensuous type of chemistry, but there wasn't sex on screen, and it didn't need to be on screen. There was just enough amount of that to portray the relationship together.
Yeah. I really love this kind of spy movie. I like all the kinds. I love espionage. I love that thriller. It's a cerebral thriller, and it's an emotional thriller because this movie is not only about, the secret plans and malware that, they can't let get out. That's one aspect of their job, but at least 50% of the movie is about their personal relationships with each other, their cheating, their loyalties, trust broken. Steven Soderbergh writes an amazingly taut script, kind of like we said with Conclave. I don't think there was a wasted scene in this film. Every single thing we saw on screen, we needed to see, and it moved right along.
Yeah, my biggest takeaways were the performances were excellent, right down to the supporting characters. The story was clever and witty, and the fact that it was clever enough to where I didn't see where it was going in the best way, right? Like, it all came together at the end. I love a movie that puts multiple tentacles out, and they seem related, so it's not like this random thing. Like, Pulp Fiction, for example, is random. Like, when you're watching it for the first time, you're like, why is Jules with Vincent? And then what does that have to do with this over here? And then why are they at a coffee shop? What? And then it comes together and you're like, whoa, right? This is not that. This is, everything is similar, and you're like, okay, this all fits somehow like a jigsaw puzzle.
It's custom tailored.
Yes, and it all comes together at the end, and I love a movie that does that. So Black Bag is a big winner for me.
All right, let's go deeper into Black Bag. David Koepp, the writer, not Steven Soderbergh, but Steven Soderbergh does pace a movie really well. And to me, that was, I think, one of the coolest things in this movie is, I mean, it almost could have been a stage play, right?
Yes.
It takes place at a table or it takes place at a polygraph, room. There's very little going on, but there's so much going on. I remember saying this to somebody who didn't like Oppenheimer. And, I was like, what is wrong with you?
The one person who did
Yeah. And why do you need to see it in IMAX? And what I said to that person was, okay, even if you take the explosion out of that movie, when you see on a big screen micro facial expressions coming from an actor like Cillian Murphy, that's this entire film. This movie was tight in on everybody's faces, and you can see the moment when their thought changes because they're just a crease of a forehead or a slight raising of an eyebrow, or Cate Blanchett, is she reacting to the scary jump scares in this movie because she's seen it already, or is she seeing it for the first time? Like, just all those performances and everything was right there for you to see. So it was just an excellent showpiece for the facial acting in this movie from brilliant people.
Was there any point in the film where you thought you had it figured out?
Yes.
And were you correct?
No. which again,
That's
I
good.
love and I appreciate.
Kudos
Yes.
to the
It
filmmakers.
really was just pulling you in different directions to really make you believe one thing, and all of a sudden, it is the kind of thing too. If you go back and watch this movie again, I'm sure there's other little things you can pick up on.
Of course,
where they're absolutely directing you to feel to believe something, and you would be right now. Whereas the first time consuming it, there's plenty of things going on. They're trying to, it's like an illusion, right, with a magician.
Yeah.
Trying to make you focus on one thing where they're doing it right in front of your face, but you're looking at something else, and you completely miss it.
Yes.
And Soderbergh is known for that, going all the way back to Ocean's 11. I still watch Ocean's 11 probably every other year just because it comes on, and I'm like, I freaking love this movie. And there's still things that I've not seen before.
It's funny you mentioned that because that exact thought jumped in my head when George first enters the building.
The music cue?
Well, I had such Ocean's 11 vibes.
Oh, I see.
Like he struts in there. Like he does not. He's a British guy with glasses, but he struts in there with such confidence and power in just the way he's walking that, like, I got that whole Clooney, Brad Pitt, all that. It struck me as Ocean's 11, just walking the building.
For me, it was the musical cues.
Yeah, now that you say that, the music, everything, I definitely get that feel.
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about the score. I adored the score.
I'm going to take a sip of my soda.
No, it was amazing, and the score helped tell the story.
Yes.
And that's what I enjoy about a good score, is when it helps to be a supplement to the story as well too, and this absolutely did. And there were just so many different takes on different jazzy tones, even some hip hop. It felt like there are points in there too.
Yep.
So, and it also made it to where you didn't necessarily you couldn't tell all the time what a period you were in until you got to the tech part.
I think it purposely was throwing you off kilter to give you that confused, who's telling the truth, it really served the story well.
Right, because even though George is the protagonist, you still don't know if there's something, if he's done something wrong either. Maybe he is a villain as well too, and they're trying to throw you off. Music cues always try to help tell that, and that's where I feel like music helped to try to throw you off in the story as well.
It just made me think of Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Not the whole
also
thing.
that.
Not the whole thing. I'm just saying, like, every once in a while there'd be some interest music, usually at the start of a scene.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of a...
You know what that was
man.
for Gover? That was Gover's "I like turtles" moment.
Yes. I'm man enough to admit that. Yes, it is.
It absolutely is.
I was waiting for a little Elvis, little less conversation to come on.
All right, let's get our scores and rationale for Black Bag. And let's start with Jeremy K. Gover.
7.0 for me. I love the performances. Big Michael Fassbender fan. Cate Blanchett. I hate to make you jealous, Bradford, but I like her as well. She's awesome. It's just, again, all the supporting characters were great. The story was intriguing. It was a slow burn, but in a good way. It's only about an hour 40-ish, I think, something like that. It was the pieces kind of fell into place, but again, the pacing, you're right. The pacing, the rhythm of the whole thing, and as everything kind of fell together was just awesome. So, again, not one of like my favorite films of the year, I'm sure, when it's all said and done. But it was very much worth my time. It's worth your time. If you love a good spy movie, you'll love it. You'll love this movie. So 7.0 for me.
All right, Bradford.
The more I digest the movie, the more I like it.
Absolutely.
It's been that kind of movie for me. And the more I think about it, the more I like it. I mean, Cate Blanchett automatically gets it to like a 7. And then I add
biased.
points.
Did she get Borderlands to a 7?
For this movie, it automatically gets it to a 7.
Yeah.
She got her paycheck.
Fight.
But I just love the sultriness of the two characters with her and George.
Their relationship.
The relationship was great. And just continuing on of like, would you kill for me? Would you kill for me? Yes, I would. Anything to protect their marriage, because they have something that's very unique compared to the other couples in the sanctity of their marriages or their relationships.
Yes.
As well. So it's just a very unique take on, you knew Michael Fassbender's character, George, from the very get-go, he's going to get what he wants. He's going to get the information he wants. He's going to go to any means necessary to get that information he wants. And it's not the type of torture, per se. It's mental games and how he does that. It's a mental torture.
Yes.
You don't even know what he's accomplishing while he's accomplishing it. So I love that way the character is written so very well. And just the acting, it was great. Again, it was British dry in a very good way. Like, there are so many moments where I'm going, I'm very intrigued, and I don't know why.
In the best possible way.
In the best possible way. It's like, is the way they're talking, the way they're delivering the lines. I'm like, they're accomplishing so much here for this.
This is dry like a ginger ale.
Yeah, I love ginger ale.
I know. It's fantastic drink. That's delicious.
Anyways, I'm going with an 8.0. I really do enjoy it. And I mean, maybe as I digest it more, it goes higher for me. But I can't give it something less because I feel like it deserves at least a B- in the grading standards of America. For sure.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you can tell I really enjoyed this movie. I got very much this is kind of your Tinker Tailor, kind of vibe. But it also had this driving energy throughout that, it in exactly the way we hate Guy Ritchie doing it. He did it perfectly.
Guy Ritchie's Black Bag.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is Guy Ritchie. This is how you do it. Name smaller. Just do it better. And this is as
catching strays on the Untitled Film Project Podcast. I'm here for it.
As Bradford said, I am appreciating the movie more and more. It wasn't until I think I was on the ride home from watching the movie that I realized the incredibly awesome metaphor of George fishing. Entirely through the movie, he's throwing out bait and trying to catch him, trying to hook him.
And one snaps.
And one of them snaps. So, I mean, there's, and it eventually becomes, the place where they hide the body, which was just like, it was a great thing that I, in the moment, didn't realize tied into the story so well. And I think there's going to be more of those when I see it again in streaming. I just thought, this is how you do it. I am definitely giving this an 8. I could probably give it more, but it's a restrained movie, and there's beauty in that. And I just thought, this is how you make a movie. Time for the big question. We do it every episode. You can play along. What's our big question for this week, Bradford?
Well, it could be so many things when you talk about spy movies, right? But what are spy movies known for all the time? It's about the double cross, right? You never know where a character could stand, if they're actually the protagonist, the antagonist, the villain, whatever, or the mole, whatnot. So what is your favorite double cross?
To be clear, we're not limiting this to spy movies, right?
No. There's so many.
My answer is going to change if it is.
If you look at any list, there could be so many different things that include a double cross.
Every genre.
Spy.
Yeah.
But definitely in a spy movie, there's typically going to be some sort of double cross going on. Okay, Mr. Gover.
All right, I'm going to go with 2001 Swordfish.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Not exactly the best movie ever made, but certainly a rewatchable one. Hugh Jackman is I guess he's the hero, so to speak. But spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it and you want to, I'd skip ahead about 45 seconds from about right now. John Travolta's character he fakes his own death, basically, and he's discovered having faked his own death in the end of the movie. And it's such a cool, interesting thing, because I always love when I can't see an ending coming, but the way they do it, it leaves there's no debate. This is what happened. And then you see a few minutes later when Hugh Jackman's character is out with his daughter or whatever, that actually something else did happen. And again, you get swordfished. It's awesome. Again, not a great film, but super fun to watch, very rewatchable. And I did not see it coming when I first saw it. Could not believe we got a happy ending for a villain. It was pretty cool. So Swordfish, 2001.
Interesting. I'd forgotten about that movie. Now that you're saying it, yeah, that was a shocker. Mine is coming from a movie that earned an Oscar for an actor in a comedy, which almost never happens. Kevin Kline won an Oscar for A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, yes.
And, I didn't see it coming, but he's got the line, yeah, well, I used to kill for the CIA. And, that's a fun movie. And it was a fun, you could say surprise, but I'll call it a double cross. So, yeah, Fish Called Wanda.
Well, guys, I have to go with the television show.
Okay.
Ernest Scared Stupid.
Don't bring up bad memories.
Sorry.
That was a movie.
It's a callback if you go back way in our catalog. Bradford's got a thing.
So, one of my favorite television series of all time, and it's going to be at the end of the first season of 24.
Ooh.
Boy, that were
good one.
Good.
That's a great one.
So,
a little against the rules, not being a movie, but I'll allow it. That's really great. That's really
it feels like a movie. It's 24
No,
episodes,
I know.
right?
I know.
You're like the judge in every,
but I'll allow it.
Yeah.
So at the end,
SUV,
it's coming to a close. Jack Bauer has his family back. They're rescued. And then all of a sudden, to basically close out season 1 of this, in the very last few minutes of this episode, it is revealed that Nina Myers is the mole. And she executes Terry Bauer, Jack's wife. And then that just launches season 2. How often do you get a television series where it's not necessarily a cliffhanger, but you have the launch to your next season right there as you finish off your first one?
It was a boom.
I mean, excellent way to present television as well, especially in action drama like this, to where every episode is 1 hour of the day. I mean, there's ridiculous things that happen in 24, right? But what a unique premise to present television in this way, but with the double cross, because you just don't know it's coming at all. And everyone, the gasp you let out when you see that happen for the first time, like,
Yep. Collectively across America.
Yes.
Back when
you had to watch live TV, you could collectively hear them doing it.
Imagine if social media.
But we're getting back to that with, maybe not we're watching it at the same time, but with release dates on a Friday, or this show is, obviously the streaming services are realizing, the way they did it in television works for us, because if you want to see all 8 episodes of this season, we got you for 2 months.
And that's why Stranger Things, they release one half and then another half to get your subscription for 2 months.
Exactly. So, it was so effective. Yeah, that was like, So what was that for you, our viewers and listeners of the Untitled Film Project podcast? The double cross you never saw coming, or you enjoyed it so much when it happened. Special honorable mention, The Departed. Oh, man. I didn't pick it because I thought you guys were.
Oh. Well,
I went with a much lesser movie, actually.
Departed, Swordfish.
mine wasn't even a movie.
Thank you for listening to the Untitled Film Project Podcast. To support the show, please rate, review, follow, and subscribe. Original music by Jeremy Schwartz. Special thanks to the Music City Film Critics Association. Editing and post-production by Jeremy K. Gover. Voiceover by Chad Bennett.